Alright, so I'm going to be doing a video. This will be a gameplay, let's play, whatever you want to call it. Just kind of see if you want to play the game. I'm also going to be doing tips and tricks to help you get started and grow a community in this game. So this game is called Banished. And basically the simple backstory is that you are a small group of people who have been exiled or banished from your previous settlement and you're trying to start a new life, and here we are. So the first things we want to do, we have a nice big river right here, and the most important thing, let's get all my screens. I like to have the statistics about the town, the event log over here, and then be able to assign jobs. I like to have these up and running pretty much at all times. This is probably the three that I use the most. So this is nice because it shows you all of your surplus amounts of material. So anything that's in people's houses won't go towards that. This is literally surplus items that you have extra of. And citizens automatically take what they need. Sometimes they can be a little bit greedy, in my opinion, but all right. So first things, I always kind of make some roads. Roads are just like in every other kind of game like this, they allow your people to move a lot faster. And dirt roads are pretty much, let's see, yeah, they don't actually cost anything, and it's the best in the beginning because the alternative would be for us to build these stone roads, which so you can move a lot faster, but it costs 1 stone per length. And we don't have a whole lot. We don't have this luxury of having that kind of items yet. So once we start mining, we'll be able to do that kind of stuff. So the first things we're going to do, food is going to be pretty much the hardest thing to really get a hold of, in my opinion. So we're going to go ahead and build 2 of these fishing ports. I always build one of those first because so fishing you can actually do year round, and that's something you can help. So when I build these farms, as I'm going to do here in a little bit, there's a certain season. Obviously, I can't farm during the winter. Now, the good thing is when I have farmers assigned to that slot, you don't have to unassign them. They automatically become laborers during the winter when they're not doing anything, which is nice. But it takes a lot of workers to grow a farm, and I can tell you that you're going to want that year-round kind of thing. So the next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to have a hunting cabin. So let's make that over in here. This looks like a really, well, let's see. Let's look around. Yeah, this is going to be a really, really good area for that. And we'll put you right over here. I'm also going to build a forester lodge. And he can go maybe right in here. Now the Forester Lodge actually plants and replenishes the trees that we are going to be cutting down. You obviously need a lot of that for winter time because your people will starve if they are not well. I was going to say well fed, sorry. If they're not taken care of. So they need the warmth of the fire to put it basically. So we'll go ahead and put that there. We want to put it out kind of in the middle of nowhere. And let's go ahead and have these guys just kind of clear cut this really quick because we need all this stone and all of this. And I'm going to, you know what, go ahead and any of this extra stuff in here, we're just going to have them kind of cut that down because you really need stone and iron in the beginning very badly. And I don't like to wait. Now, homes are very important because you want to have a lot of expansion. And what I mean by that is, so I'm going to build a couple of houses here. People will get older and they need their own home. And the reason why they need their own home is they will not produce offspring unless they have their own home. For some reason, when kids grow up and they live in another parent's house, they don't want to do the nasty in their parents' house. They have to have their own house to produce children. And if you don't produce children in a timely manner, you run out of that option, and then you have a very aging workforce, which is not what we want. Let's go ahead and build So that should give us plenty of expansion, at least for now. And I'm going to go ahead and pause these because I don't want them to build it right now, but I want these all planned out. This is a game of very strategic planning. You're going to find that you're going to have to really plan this out a lot of times multiple seasons in advance. So the next thing I'm going to do, and I still have the game paused, I'm actually going to go ahead and build a crop field. You have to make, these are a maximum of 15 by 15. Now this is going to be our biggest producer of food. You usually, I think we had potatoes in this one. Is that what? Yeah, so potatoes is what we're going to be able to grow here. You're looking at about 2,400 potatoes per year, which is quite a lot. I'm just going to see if I can even, okay, so that's going to be, I'm going to try to build a pasture for these chickens. Let's see if I can, now pasture, you can make up to 20 by 20. Okay, so I can't make it there. So I'm going to build a pasture there. I think I had some chickens that I saw, or did I have sheep in this one? I have chickens. So chickens, you can have up to, with this size of pasture, I can have up to 66 chickens in there all laying eggs. This is going to be a very, very good opportunity for me to get a good supply of food going. I might build an orchard down here. Fortunately, this mountain's in the way, so it's kind of hard, but this will be kind of my farming area. And we're going to go ahead and build a gatherer's hut as well. So we're going to build this gatherer's hut right here. And that just kind of gets onions and things like that. Once again, you want, so the hunting cabin, the gatherer's hut, and this fishing is all for year-round, your ability to gather food year-round. Because like I said, it's very crucial in the winter months so that you can feed your people, because they will run through food like it's kind of unbelievable. And unfortunately, you can't set ration, which I wish you could do. Be like, hey, quit shoving your face full of food. So as these guys are building, as you see, I put 3 of them on building. The rest of them are laborers. Now, laborers will clear these areas that need to be cleared. So we need to remove 5 objects here, a lot of the stone and things like that. We need all that removed. This is going to be a big thing to remove. Okay, so we got the fishing ready. I'm going to put all 4 people on fishing duty. And you know what? We're going to have 5 people on fishing duty right now. And then we're going to wait, because eventually we're going to have these farms up and running. But this will get us a good amount of food starting out. They're already working on the hunting cabin, the forester lodge, so they're doing really, really well. And then what I want to do is I'm going to eventually expand this way, and we're going to build a lot of farms. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and plan that out. Early on, you're going to want 3 crop fields. And the reason why is because normally you start out with 2 different types of seeds, and then you're going to want an orchard. Now, orchards take about 3 to 4 seasons to fully develop, but once they do, they are very, very good supply. They're very good at giving you that extra food. So, and then you can also, later on, you're going to be able to make beer with that stuff. So, all right, where did we decide that? Here's the road right here. Oh, there's a big hill over here. Okay. I'm just making sure. Okay, so I think that you kind of eventually have to fight for real estate. So I'm just making sure that I'm making these exactly. that'll work. So this will probably be another plot, and then I'm going to go ahead and make even one more. And this will be my orchard right here. And that way we can make our food. Like that. And so the next thing that we're going to move on to is a town hall. And I'm just kind of naming these things out. I mean, they're going to build them, and you can actually, let me show you this real quick. You can actually increase the priority. You click on this and drag where you want the priority for them to build. I've had some issues with that in the past, so I don't know exactly how well that's supposed to work. It seems like these workers just kind of do whatever they feel like. Town Hall allows you to accept nomads into your tribe. Now, there's pros and cons to that. Now, the nomads will bring people, which is very, very good because we're going to need a lot of people eventually. Let's go ahead and get 2 hunters going and a forester. Much needed people because you always need people in this game, it seems like. But there's the risk that they can bring diseases. But what you do if that happens is you just build a hospital. Now, it takes a little while, so if you're going to accept nomads, I would suggest that you do that. Another thing that's really, really handy is you're going to want to build a school. So I'm going to go ahead and get that kind of started because the more educated the people are, the faster and better they work. I'll go ahead and they're more productive is what it says here. Also, when they're working in mines, whenever you start to build those later, they have less accidents. So it looks like we have enough room for expansion. This is going really, really well down in here. They're building pretty quickly. So another thing we're going to do is we're going to build a trader. That was in this little market area right here. And that'll work actually right there. No, it won't. We'll put you there. So a trader allows you to, there's going to be a guy, he's going to come by usually about once every season, sometimes twice a season. And what they do is they allow you to buy new seeds so you can grow new crops. They'll bring food. They'll bring new. So we have chickens right here, but he'll bring cattle. He'll bring sheep. He or she, I guess is. But you need stuff to trade, and a lot of times I try to get a lot of tools built up because tools are worth a lot of trade power. Once that gets built, I'll kind of show you that. I might even do a separate video on trading because it's probably complex enough for me to warrant another video for that. So we've got 2 other fields here, a field and a pasture. I've got some other room in here. Anything I don't have a whole lot of room for, so these are probably all going to be houses down in there. And we're getting quite a bit of the iron and stone built up just from this. So really, I only put 1 guy on Forester right now because we don't really need a whole lot. We're going to get enough, especially with this plot right here. I mean, there's 74 either trees or stone or something like that. Now, something else really helpful is we can look at this. So the food limit we can always increase or decrease, but this tells the people stop doing what you're doing whenever we reach this food limit. So stop working, basically. So right now we're up to 306 fish. You just click on this little squiggly line here, and 241 fish. And this is nice because obviously we're just in our first season, but we can go ahead and see how we're doing. Now up here in our event log, we've already got 5 children that were born. So we're up to 24 people total in our town. A lot of people are being born, so it's crucial that we get these houses done. So I'm going to go ahead and increase the priority on just these 2 houses. We need to continue to make children. We need to continue to have that youth, and you, like I said, you don't want your workforce to age, and you don't want people to get beyond the years of making children. So you need to always plan ahead. For some reason, like I said, people have to have their own house to make a baby. So whatever. I have kind of a funny story I kind of want to tell you about. The very first time I played this game, I had a guy, I totally didn't know about that, and I only had these houses, and everybody's living in the same house, nobody's making children, and all of a sudden, it dwindled down to 1 guy. His name was Pablo, and Pablo worked his butt off for that town, even though nobody was there. It was all Pablo, and he eventually died at like the age of 76. But poor Pablo's trying to do everything in the whole town. Um, it was a fun little experience, I got to say. That's what makes this game so unique and so fun, is that you can talk about that kind of stuff. But excuse me. So we had one person move in here. Excuse me. And this house is getting built. We're up to 441 food. As you can see, we started out with 2,400 food, and we're already at 242. So you blow through food like nothing in this game. So I'm going to go ahead and increase my fishermen to 6. And we really need to get this done, this farm now. So we're going to go ahead and increase this priority. So you see the priority tool is actually working now. I've had hit or miss. Sometimes people just kind of go on and do their own thing, and then sometimes they actually do what I ask them to do. So, all right, this is going to allow us, for when those children become of age, to do that, so they can move in and we can keep producing more children, like I said, so we can have more workers eventually. I think it's at the age of 12 that children become laborers, unless you want them to go to school. But we'll work on the school later. I'm going to go ahead and pause that. It's not as important as what we need right now. So another thing that we're going to need in the future is a market. You know what? I'll go ahead. Let's go ahead and put it right over here. Now, a market distributes everything much more efficiently than in the storage barn. It's for your citizens. Eventually, your storage barn will basically be for what you want the trader to trade with, the people that come through town. So this is going to be your main source of where people need to get their supplies and their tools and their food and all that kind of stuff. That's eventually what this will be. Now, these are deer. So that's what the hunter is hunting. I should have them. I wish I could point. Hey, all the deer are over here. So basically at this stage, we've got all of the basic items accounted for. We've built all of these items in multiple crop fields. You're going to want it, like I said, 2 crop fields and an orchard. Now the priority will be the 2 crop fields, and we'll eventually get to the orchard when we can. We've got a pasture that'll help us get our chickens going so we can get eggs and more. Once you get the max to the chicken, now I can tell you just from playing this before, you can have up to 66. After you reach that, the guy starts killing off the chickens basically, so you can have chicken and the eggs once you get to enough people. So we need a blacksmith eventually. So let's go ahead and build that. This will kind of be our worker row. And we're also going to need some clothing. Now the clothing either comes from sheep or it comes from deer. So let's go ahead and go to our hunting cabin. And you can see he's actually producing leather from all the deer that he's getting. So he's already caught 200 of the venison, and he'll actually produce leather, which we'll need for this clothing later on. We're down to 16 clothes, so we'll probably end up making this a priority over the blacksmith. And the harvest, we'll go ahead and do wheat. And we'll go ahead and assign, let's go ahead and knock these builders down. And I'm going to go ahead and do 2 farmers. So like I said, it's late winter. There's nothing that the farmers can do right now. They're automatically going to be laborers. And then once that happens, once early spring happens, I'm going to knock this down, the fishermen down to 4. And I'm going to actually increase this all the way to the max on the farmer, because wheat we can grow, like I said, over 2,000 in a season, where we're only getting about 500 to 600 every season with this. So the crops are going to be your big money maker, or food maker, whatever you want to call it. So basically this is the basic layout. Eventually you're going to want to have a tavern. The tavern increases the happiness. I actually do need a woodcutter. I kind of forgot to do that, so let me do that real quick. I'll go ahead and put him here. So the woodcutter chops the wood that we are going to get from the forester hut or from other places, and he's going to make firewood. Otherwise, your people will start to freeze to death if you don't do that. Now, the final thing, so this is a good tool, remove. I've already showed you that a little earlier, so we can go ahead and remove like all of this. We need a lot of the stone and iron out of here anyway, so it's good to just remove all that extra in here. Now you can individually say, I only want you to collect the stone or the iron from this area or the trees, but I usually just do all if I know I'm not going to be needing that stuff, basically. So here we need to go ahead and drop down to 2, increase to 4. That way we can get 100% yield. This yield will slowly rise throughout the season. But basically, like I said, this is the basic setup, and you can do bridges and things like that. Now, something I didn't mention, and I'm going to mention before I stop this video, is stone houses are better for warmth than regular wooden houses. Well, why did I build the wooden houses over this? Simply because of resources. I do not have the resources to build stone houses. It's much more uh, you need the resources for other things. So what we do is I just build wooden houses in the beginning. Once I have a plethora of resources, I can start to build these stone houses by upgrading. But as you can see, it takes iron, stone, and wood, almost double what it costs to build a wooden house. And it provides much more warmth, but we don't have the luxury of building these right now, unfortunately. Now, eventually, we can build a hospital, like I said, a chapel. Cemeteries can kind of help the grieving process. Like I said, it makes more people more productive soon after a mourn or a loss. And the wells, I'm actually playing on no disasters, but if you had that on, wells are very nice for putting out fires. So you would want to put them around the town, and it helps people put fires out. And eventually, we go to resource production. Now, a mine is where we mine coal, and you can also get iron as well. These are actually, so we can put one right here. I actually will probably put one there, actually, to be honest, eventually. But they kind of have to be on the side of a hill. So I'm going to go ahead and put that there, and we'll just go ahead and pause that. And then a quarry is for stone. So you can actually just knock all the stone out, and just be aware though that when you make that, it's going to increase. It's going to just level the ground, basically right there, and dig deep into the ground. So that whole area is basically unusable after that. Now we have that. Our traders post is going to be coming up. Our town hall will be coming up. Another good thing about the town hall is it gives you graphs. It shows you total production. So I'm producing this much food every year, but I'm only using this much. So if you're running a surplus or if you're running a loss. I think that'll do it for this video. I'm going to do a follow-up video later. Leave me some comments if I'm missing something or something you would like to see, or if you have questions. I'll try to make a video, see what I can do to help you out. This is a very complex game as far as planning. This is what the game is all about, is major planning. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the video, and I appreciate you guys for watching, and